Monster Movie Media presents.
Greetings and welcome to Creepy Kingdom, a podcast all about the creepiness of the Disney films and theme parks. I'm your host, Mr. James H. Carter II. Coming up in this episode, I will be responding to some listener emails. But before we get to that, the main event here is that this is the Creepy Days wrap-up show. Just in case you missed it, for the past month of October, every single day, Creepy Kingdom released an episode. And we've had a few days off since then. So it's time to take a breath and reflect. I have invited Michelle Young from the Disney Dreamgirls and Creepy Kingdom contributor in training Cupcake Tara back on the show to discuss some of their favorite moments of the past month. So, without any further ado, let's begin. I would like to welcome back to the show Michelle from the Disney Dreamgirls. Hello.
Hello, James, and thank you for having me back on again.
So you started off Creepy Days, and you're wrapping it up.
Thank you so much. What an honour. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And since not only did you start off Creepy Days was inspired by your podcast's Minxmas, I thought I would ask you back on to kind of say what were some of your favorite moments of Creepy Days this past month.
It'd probably take me a month to go through them all, James, to be quite frank.
Well,
There've been so many.
Every day, cranking them out.
You have been an absolute superstar. As somebody who knows how difficult it is to do this kind of project, you are lovely, you are hardworking, but completely bonkers, my friend.
Thank you very much. I completely agree with the last statement.
So, Creepy Days 2015.
I don't know. I told you before I wasn't sure. Let's just celebrate 2014's Creepy Days for now. And
Fabulous.
There's plenty of other great things on Creepy Kingdom coming up before next Halloween, so we'll just take things one thing at a time.
We've got Christmas, and that's the creepiest time of the year anyway.
It certainly is. Very creepy. But I will not be releasing episodes every day in December, so.
I know you've been trying to persuade me to do Minxmas again, so I'll have to get my self in order and get myself sorted for that, won't I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really doing that for selfish reasons, as I did not get to participate last year because my podcast did not exist yet. So I want to contribute to Minxmas. So that's why I want you to do it again. You could just have me do one day. You could one day of Minxmas, just me.
We could have the 15 days of Creepy Days Minxmas, and you could just do a show every day for 15 days.
Wow, sure. I'm sure the Disney Dreamgirls listeners would love that. 15 days of me talking about creepy Christmas stuff.
Okay, maybe not then.
I'm just thinking of your listeners. I don't want to, they could take a little creepiness, but I don't think they want 2 weeks of it. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Sure.
I'll tweet.
Yeah, send out a tweet. I'll get some feedback on that. So, What's on your list there?
Okay, obviously my highlight was the start of the series was the show that we did for you, where Jane and I talked about Nightmare Before Christmas and Watcher in the Woods. And you'll all be pleased to know that since then, I have been able to watch Nightmare Before Christmas yet again, and I've fallen completely head over heels in the wonderful verse used within the film. I love it to pieces.
Oh, excellent.
So I've gone from being, yeah, it's okay, to can't wait to ride at Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion, and see Jack.
So what changed your mind?
I think the first time I watched it, I kind of might have been multitasking, which is very frequent because of my career, because I've got 3 children, because I do a podcast and blah, blah, blah.
Do 2 podcasts.
I might have been multitasking. And then I watched it again, literally, I think it was the night after we recorded it for you. And I was like, how can I not think this is anything but utter awesome? It's got the kind of music I like. It's got the dark sense of humour. It's got the evilness of trying to steal one celebration and mash it up with another one. It is just brilliant. And then, as I say, the rhyme that goes all the way through, and the language is so rich. If it wasn't so dark, I'd be playing it to the kids in the classroom.
How old are your kids?
I teach 10 to 11-year-olds, but I think it probably would be a bit too dark for them.
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
So we'll see. And plus, fitting in a film of over an hour in a busy, tight schedule curriculum that we have over here in the UK isn't going to happen.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But yeah, loved that. I still haven't tracked down a full version of Watcher in the Woods. I went out to the store at the weekend, actually, to see if I can find a copy on DVD. And I haven't. And the best I've got is some very dodgy copies on YouTube.
It's not on. Do you know if it has been released on DVD?
I haven't got as far as that. I just thought I'd go and look in the shop.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I mean, it may or may not be. I think I've only seen it on VHS.
Wow. Well, maybe that's something that people could mention to Bobbin Burbank at the next shareholders meeting.
Sure.
Instead of bring back Song of the South.
Yeah, that'll be the next one he brings up.
Watcher in the Woods, Song of the South, ka-ching, done. So I hope we launched the festivities for you in the good spirit. But after us, boy oh boy, did you get some absolutely fantastic shirts.
I sure did. I'm blown away by some of the content that's come in and the guests that have been on. It has been a humbling experience for sure. And
I think that's something I love about the podcast community is when you do these projects like this, everybody rallies round and helps out and wants to help you.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. it was I mean, I'm the loss of words actually. But luckily, you have to speak about it, not me. So
Yay! Well, I'm going to forward wine to day 4, and friend of mine, Jeannie Gallo, talked about her dinner at the Tower of Terror. And this was a special event that she organised. And, you know, we'd already had her on the show, on our podcast, talking, I think, oh gosh, all the way back on something ridiculous like show 11, I think it was, talking about how she did a private event on the tower balcony over the gift shop. And you know, how can you not praise Jeannie on her contribution? And it had flaming donuts.
right. Yeah, she gave an abridged version of the story she told on your show for us, and it's still I've never heard anyone else do this. I mean, at all. You know, like it's incredible. She had hosted a dinner party at the Tower of Terror. It's so cool.
I do know someone recently did one, coinciding with the Tower of Terror 10-miler event that was on.
Okay.
And they did a sort of a get together, and it was very limited availability because there isn't a great deal of space there. But if you're going to have a dinner party of 12 people, I can't think of a better location. And I know on the show Jeannie did for us, she talks about another location that she had as well, for another dinner. And it really does, if you want to do this, it's not as expensive as you think. So, yay.
Yeah, no, I think we did the math a little bit there. And yeah, it's just a little, if everyone puts their money together, you could spend $40-$50 a person or something to pull something off like this.
Well, I've just been totting up, as I was saying off air, that I'm going to go to Cafe Circle Christmas Day for my Christmas lunch over in Disneyland. And I've totted it up without even having any drinks on the bill. It's going to be the best part of $80-$90. And when you compare that price to having an event between you and your friends at a location like Tower of Terror, wow.
Yeah.
And
That doesn't compare at all.
There's 8 of us going as well, so we could do something like that. The only problem is we're on the wrong coast. We're over in California.
Right, and I don't think they have any dinners at the Tower of Terror in DCA. I don't think they have room for that.
I do know that they do have places that you can book, so it might be something I might want to investigate a little bit further on down the line for other events, maybe. So,
yes, you must investigate. We will party in the Tower of Terror at some point.
Yeah, sounds great. Just drop in, won't you, James?
Yeah, I'll drop all the way in.
The next one I really enjoyed were my friends Sarah and Richard from Skywalking Through Neverland. I have been very fortunate to meet Sarah and Richard, and they genuinely are a lovely, lovely couple who are so enthusiastic about their topic, anything to do with Disney, fan culture, Star Wars. They are just so oozing with knowledge and positivity. I love them to bits. I think they're great. They had a really good history lesson of the Haunted Mansion, which is one of my favourite attractions.
They came. They brought their A game for sure. They gave a real episode there. Not that anyone else did, but I mean, they actually. That sounds like an insult. They actually started a series that is continuing on their podcast on this podcast, which I was completely flattered by.
Yeah.
So they actually used stuff that they were making for their own podcast and debuted it on Creepy Kingdom. I thought that was awesome.
Really, really good. And I do urge people to check out their podcast because it is just awesome. And curiously, as we're talking about the Haunted Mansion, I've got a question for you, James. I'm going to challenge you now. You didn't know I was going to do this, did you?
Oh, boy. All right.
It's the mixiness in
Pop
me.
quiz.
Right.
Yeah.
The statues that serenade you in the middle of the ride are known as the Phantom 5. If I give you the character, can you remember any of the actors who were chosen to voice them? So you've got somebody as Phineas Pock. You've got somebody as Uncle Theodore. You've got somebody as Rollo Runkin. You've got somebody else as Ned Nub. And then you've got somebody else as Cousin A. Any ideas?
Oh, man, this is crazy. I'm not gonna say I have. It's one of those things where it's like that information. I know I've heard or read, but it is not retained in my head at all.
Shall I give you a clue? Person who did Uncle Theodore also did the voice of Tony the Tiger. Rawr.
Yes, and now I'm drawing a blank on his name. I know who you're talking about, obviously, because his voice is all over many Disney attractions and many films. And oh my God, Raven Earl?
Yeah, you're nearly there. I'll give you that. Phil Ravenscroft.
What is it?
Ravenscroft.
Thurl. Oh, okay. That's embarrassing. I can't have myself not know his name on my own show. Yeah, no, I mean it's that name I cannot state. Thurl is such a bizarre name to me, but no, yeah, I mean I certainly know he is. You hear him in so many different things from that time period in the parks and in the animated films.
So the others were Bob Ebright, Vern Rowe, Jane Meyer, and Truck Schroeder.
I wouldn't have known any of those, but I did. The reason why I thought I might have known was I have seen the footage of them recording that because the film projections, and it's weird. They had to like put their head in like a vice so it stays completely still while they move their keep moving make crazy facial expressions and move their eyes all
See, that's the kind of creepy fact that I knew you would know. Regardless of knowing people's name, you knew that they had to be shot with their head in a vice. That's just so good.
There you go. That's my contribution to trivia there.
Fabulous. We've both been very fortunate. We've been both US Haunted Mansion rides. Kind of cool.
Yes,
Do you have a preference?
My preference is Disneyland, and I think it just really comes back to that was the first one that I experienced, and even though they're very similar, one of the glaring differences for me is the portrait gallery you walk through in Disneyland, and it's on the ride, and that portrait gallery, that whole going in the stretching room and going to the portrait gallery the first time I went on when I didn't know what I was doing or where we were going, or it was all just taking it in, and that experience will stay with me for the rest of my life, and that was one of my favorite parts for sure. I was like, where are we going? We're walking down this hall and these pictures are changing. And these busters keep staring at me. I'm like, this is incredible. I was old enough to not be that freaked out by it, but not really know how they pull it off. So it was it was pure magic, and that's something I really miss from the Magic Kingdom version, is not being able to walk through the portrait area.
Not unless the ride breaks down anyway.
Right. No, I've never been evac on there. I don't want to either. I don't want to see behind any of that stuff. I've accidentally seen pictures behind the graveyard from that, and that's just such a bummer. What's actually behind everything?
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to be evac on Haunted Mansion.
Okay. Well, the next one I'm moving on to is episode 12, and this is Creepy Music, and this was forgive me,
yeah.
I'm not very good at pronouncing names. Is it Rob Merrick?
Rob Merrick. Merrick, yep, that's his name. Hey, Rob.
Fantastic top 10 list.
Oh, his list was great.
Really,
yeah, I mean, it was
really good list with some pretty awesome, creepy music. Starting off with Marilyn Manson with "This Is Halloween." Love that. Love it. But seriously, we are Siamese, if you please. That is just bonkers.
What? You don't think that's creepy?
I think it's completely creepy that Disney have brought in the whole idea of genetically cloning into a film that wasn't even made when cloning was even thought about. I think it's such a visionary, the Disney company are.
I think they're talking about Siamese cats.
Well, they were identical Siamese cats. They just freak me out because they're both completely the same, and they are weird, and they are... I don't like Siamese cats anyway, so... we digress. There was one song I would have added, and I don't know whether you'd class it as creepy. I just think it's just weird. Beauty and the Beast, and it's the mob scene where they're going to kill the beast, and I think it's actually called Kill the Beast. And I just think this is so creepy that a mob can be swayed in such a way to pick up the pitchforks and go kill somebody. I just think, it's whipping up people into a frenzy. So I'm adding that as number 11. Hope you don't mind, Rob.
I'm sure you won't mind. That's a song. I don't even know how that song goes. That's a song that doesn't stick in anyone's mind.
Yeah, it didn't stick in mine. It was led by, obviously, Gaston. And Gaston being the hairy-chested oaf. I didn't like him either. And I am so glad when I get onto the next bit, a bit later on, that your lovely friends didn't include Gaston in the best-looking villain.
I'm not sure how they feel about Gaston, but he didn't come up, so yeah. That's good.
Communico Weekly joined you on day 13. I'd heard all about this Ghost of the Caribbean and the story of George's Tower. I bet there's all sorts of spooky stories, and I imagine walking around the Utilidors in Walt Disney World being utterly freaked out with shadows on the walls, and it just makes my skin crawl. I bet there's lots of stories.
Sure. I mean, the Utilidors are creepy amongst themselves. And I don't know if there's more ghost stories, but that story that they told about George the Ghost, Adam Leonard, who has been on our show several times, is a former cast member, and he worked at Pirates. He discussed a little bit about that as well. So that's not just coming from one source. Yeah. It's coming from two. So George is a real legend there. And just in case you didn't listen to that one, it's the story of someone who worked on the attraction was being built, who was apparently killed, even though there's no record of this. And this ghost is there, and if at the end of the night, if they don't say goodnight, George, something bad will happen on the attraction the next day. So every night, they say goodnight, George. So,
they'll never be heard from ever again. You scared me then, James. 4,000 miles away, and you scared me.
I thought it was appropriate to scream then. I don't know.
I'm going to whiz on a little bit now to a very recent one, the Best Dressed Villains with Cupcake Terror and Roxy Tart. Absolutely loved this. Talking about which villain that they thought was the best dressed, and I love the whole debate, James, that you seemed a little bit in over your head with, of the
100%.
reason of excluding Dr. Facilier due to his shirt showing his belly button.
I will just say I was over my head over the entire episode. So, yeah, like I said, I think I even said it on the episode. I was really glad I did that show with them, because they brought some things up that I would have never even said any. I wouldn't even thought about it. It was I realized, like, wow, these two are really deep into this. I don't have too much to say here, so I just kind of let them go. As you heard, I didn't really interrupt them too much.
I think it was a good show. The whole idea of Hans being the best dressed villain, and at the beginning, I love Frozen, and the first time I watched it, I was really rooting for Hans because he was a really good guy, and then suddenly it dawns on you, you're a sugar puff, really, aren't you? Sorry, I nearly said a rude word there. You are a real nasty man. And how evil is he to try and let her freeze to death? So, but he did look pretty. I have a couple I'd like to add. And this is ones I've probably mentioned on my show a while ago. I think Jafar, because, come on, the guy is accessorized to the hilt. He has got a cape, he's got headdress, he's got the Cobra staff that has special magic powers that convince anyone to believe what he's saying. How cool is that villain's outfit?
He's rocking it. He's got some style. Can't argue with that.
It has a talking parrot.
Is that good fashion?
Well, whether it's good fashion or not, it's a conversation point.
Sounds like Gilbert Gottfried. As much as I love Gilbert Gottfried, the sound of his voice isn't one of those things that I love.
So I added him, and then the complete bonkers, uncreepy, bumbling buffoon of Edgar Balthazar from the Aristocats, the butler who tries to do away with the kittens. And he's all there in his Downton Abbey best with his tails, his bow tie. He even has those little suspenders to hold his socks up.
Wow, I've never seen this movie, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's one of the ones I haven't gotten to yet.
James, I command you to press the stop button now and watch that movie. I love that movie. It is so cool, and it is such a sinister plot that the butler is trying to basically drown the kittens so he can inherit the household. He's a cat drowner.
All right, Wow, okay, let me watch this real quick. Okay, I watched it. Great film. Thanks for the suggestion.
Everybody wants to be a cat. Yeah, you'll be singing that all night now, James, I tell you. And then the other one, I think on the female point of view, as you know, my favourite is Snow White. I love Snow White. And how awesome is the Queen's outfit? Because who doesn't love an evil character who carries their counterpart's heart in an ornate jewellery box? How creepy is that? Okay, it wasn't Snow White's heart, it was of a little piggy's heart, but the Queen thought it was Snow White's heart.
That's a great accessory. Your nemesis heart in a box.
Absolutely. So, and that's basically been an amazing month of podcasts, James. So, all credit to you, man.
Thank you. Okay, I can't take all the credit, but thank you, though. No, I said I've been just so humbled and overwhelmed with all the great contributions that have come in. This has been quite, I can't even think of the right adjectives to say. Just it's been a really awesome experience, and I wouldn't have thought of it if you didn't do Minksmith. So again, I have to thank you for the inspiration.
It's all right. I got the idea from my good mate Craig Lucas, who's one of the boys involved with Diz After Dark. So, what goes around comes around, and Diz After Dark did a show for you too, and theirs was awesome. So.
And we've come full circle. So also in the middle of all this craziness, I was on your show. You was
indeed. You got to come on our show and talk about your creepy ideas for Disney World to us. So that was good fun as well.
Yeah, what episode number was that?
It was episode 24, and we paired you up with my good friend Emma, who does a little bit of that there Disney running.
Yeah, it's the creepy running episode, yes.
Yeah, the creepy running episode. The only time you'll get me running if there's a bear chasing me.
That running stuff's out of control, but but as long as everybody's happy. So, so go ahead.
Each to their own.
All right, so speaking of your podcast, how do people find it?
Well, we are there on all of those usual podcast catching apps, whether you use Android or whether you use an iPhone device. You can search for us under Disney Dream Girls and you will find us. And if you could subscribe to us, we would be incredibly grateful. And even when you've listened and you like us, please do leave us a review because it helps other people find us. We are on that there Twitter, and that is at DizDreamGirls. And we have a website at www.disneydreamgirls.com, and we have a Facebook page which is simply Disney Dream Girls.
There you go. All the bases are covered.
All covered there for you, James.
In case a person really can't get enough, Michelle, where else can we hear you?
I can also be heard along with my friends from WDW Happy Place, Diz Geeks, and the Mighty Men of Mouse. We do a weekly show released every Monday called The Avengers, and it is 4 different opinions on 3 or 4 pieces of Disney news or views, and it can get quite out of hand every now and again, but it's really good fun. Topical, good fun.
You guys don't really go at each other, but it gets heated sometimes. Well, thank you for coming on the show once again.
No, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute honour to have been involved and helped you along the way a little bit with it.
Oh, it's been awesome. I think this is your 4th appearance on Creepy Kingdom. And
Wow.
The new rule is once you appear on the show 5 times, you are officially part of the show.
Oh, I better hurry up and get a repeat appearance.
You're real
then,
close.
hadn't
Roxy just became officially part of the show, Roxy Tart. So she had her 5th appearance a while back on whatever creepy day that was. I think it was 19. But so yeah, that's the new rule. So you're at 4. So you're creeping on up there.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for coming on again, Michelle.
Anytime, James. Thank you.
This hurts me more than it does you. Now take a running start. About a mile or 2!
I'm here with Creepy Kingdom contributor in training, Miss Cupcake Terror.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. And what number is this?
I think this is number 4.
Is it 4?
Is it 4? Yeah, I think it's 4 because we did 1.
You had your own episode of Creepy Days, then
The Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley, and then
Which I said correctly.
yes, congratulations. And then the Best Dressed episode
Best
with Roxy, and this is your
Yeah.
4th one.
This is my 4th one.
So one more Creepy Kingdom episode, and you will be an official Creepy Kingdom contributor.
Ooh, that's exciting. Sweet.
So, but you're back on so soon because we're doing our wrap-up show. We're looking back at these crazy 31 days of creepy Halloween or whatever it's called. I forget.
This is your podcast.
No, 31 creepy days of Halloween. Yeah, I know. It's crazy over here.
I can imagine, yeah.
I'm losing my mind. But anyways, I know you've been listening along all month, so I'm wondering what have some of your favorite moments of the past month been?
Man, picking favorites is like picking children that you love.
Especially for me, I can't pick any.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I love them all equally.
Yeah.
You can just pick whatever you want.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I think one of my favorites, it's in the top 3, would be Roxy's episode of the not so scary Halloween trip that we took to Walt Disney World, because it jogged my memory of things that we did while we were at the park. I'm like, oh, I remember that. I don't remember that. It was really fun to hear her bring back some really fun memories of that trip. We had such a great time, and I really want to do it again.
No, yeah, I wish one of my friends would recall one of my old trips on a podcast for me to listen to too. So I imagine that was fun for you.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. And let's see, next one. I can't pick a favorite, but I do like all the little shorts that were done by contributors that they just recanted their favorite Halloween memory.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the really short ones, because it was a way to get to know people that listen to the podcast and at the same time experience their favorite part of Halloween at the parks.
Right.
Everyone has such a different view on what they love. So to hear those things, this is really fun.
Yeah, it seems very personal when you think about it. That a lot of things people have shared. I mean, it's not that personal, but I mean, it's a perspective that you don't get to see because you have your own perspective,
right?
You know,
right.
And so that was fun.
So so it's not Disney related, but my number one favorite was definitely the podcast where you talked about the wizarding world of Harry Potter.
I'm so proud of you. I'm
Thank
so proud
you
of you
so
for pronouncing that. So
I didn't
proud.
call it the Harry Potter land. But that was the best part because it had that little bit of Halloween feel to it because it was Harry Potter and it's a little bit darker in nature. And then the fact that it was a whole new part of Islands of Adventure, which is obviously not Disneyland.
No, it's not Disney at all. But that was one of my favorite episodes I've ever done.
Nice.
It's definitely fun to listen to, and when I listen back to it. But I fear I was just like, man, did I just spoil all of this for you and anyone else that hadn't gone? I imagine anyone that didn't want to be spoiled wouldn't listen to it.
Right.
But the amount of detail of stuff that I told you about, like, it was like,
It was amazing. And the fact that you could remember that all, clearly.
very. I don't remember a lot of things, but I could go on and on. And the funny thing, when I listen back to it, it's a very long episode. I feel like it was almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, we were really talking about it.
And as I was listening back, I was like, I really breezed through a lot of topics. I could have talked a lot more about many things.
Right. I think that's the best part, though, because at least you got to share so much of the really awesome detail that stuck out in your mind with everyone. Because for me, I think I'm going to Florida next year. I'm crossing my fingers that I can make it happen. So because I have to wait so long, hearing you talk about it kind of made me feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. I feel like I was there. I shared in the experience.
Wow.
And I know what to expect. Except for that whole wand thing. I'm still a little pissy that they choose kids, but
Well, if you go there and there's only adults, they have to choose
right?
somebody.
Yes, I'm gonna make sure there are no kids there. Okay.
All right.
I see. There's a reason why that's one of my favorite podcasts. My favorite episodes. Sorry.
Oh, no, well, I'm glad that it's one of your favorites. And it was fun to do that one. I said it's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I guess I guess it's one of my favorites because I got to talk so passionately about something that I never talk about on the show. So.
Right. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Although I do want to give a shout out to Communicore Weekly for their Ghost of the Caribbean episode. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, no, that was a fun little glimpse into that tale.
Yeah. Yeah. Something you don't always hear about. That was new for me. So.
That's cool. Yeah, and Michelle actually brought this up. I'm not sure which one of these will be played first in the episode. So, but what I said to Michelle was also we had Adam Leonard on our show several times. He's a former cast member that worked at Pirates, and he actually elaborated on that story as well.
Oh, how cool. Oh, that's awesome.
So there's Magic Kingdom Pirates. So yeah, that story is got some ground to it. I don't know.
I'm going to go back and listen to it again when we're done recording because now I'm like, even with that, now it has a little bit more, what do you call it? I can't think of the word.
I know what you mean. It's not just not coming from one person, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Validity.
It's been validity. That was it. Oh, thank you so much. Validity.
So, any other moments that stand out to you?
It really, I think just listening to them, and I wish I've been able to listen to every single one. I have been slacking a little bit, but just
what? You haven't listened to all the episodes?
I know. That's it. I'm going home now. Wait, I'm already home. Okay. Yeah, I think it was just hearing all the different stories, especially with the people that you've had on, contributors, guests. It was just a lot of fun to have a podcast to listen to every day that was Halloween themed to a point, and it was just a really good time. Oh, the sound snippets from Halloween
Halloween Horror Nights?
Was that the one that you like? Yeah. I think that was the
we've
one.
had 2 Halloween Horror Nights episodes. I had one where I gave my full review, and the folks from the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast gave an overview of the event where they actually played audio.
That was the
Halloween.
one.
Yeah, that's
with the audio. Yeah.
Yeah, that listen. It's funny listening to that, their recording of it. For one, it was hilarious. Nina, who was on there with Darren on the walkthrough. Hearing her scream and yell and curse was pretty funny. But
Yep, that would be. I felt that way because that's me.
one thing I noticed about listening to the Halloween walkthrough, I went when I reviewed it, I went in explicit detail about how amazing it was and how immersive it was, and all the great encounters with Michael Myers you have in the house.
But creepy.
But listening to that made me realize how amazing the soundscape of the entire house is. They have the score from Halloween going throughout, and I realized like it never like changes songs. Like you walk through the entire house and it's always in time. Like there's slight variations on it, just like in the movie, you know, on the main theme, but it's incredible. Like it's another facet of the amazingness of the houses at Halloween Horror Nights and the production value that they put into these things. Like it's something that's like I didn't even really realize that it was there while I was so focused on all the other senses that were around me.
Right.
But listening to the way the music works in there, like it would have been so odd if it wasn't there.
Yeah, you would definitely be able to tell it was missing. And that sound, that's nightmare-inducing music to me. Yeah, I'm such a chicken. I'm the one that like, I'll go running, screaming from actors, hit walls, because I'm a big baby. So hearing all of that is, you know, the music tones, everything, the screams. It was really good sound bites. So yeah. And that's another one I'm gonna go back and listen to again while I sew my Halloween costume.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And be sure to listen to my review of Creepy Day number 17 of Halloween Horror Nights.
Of course. I did listen to that one.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I did.
Okay.
Although there was one that I missed that I wanted to listen to. It was Halloween at Disneyland Paris. That was one of the shorts. I think it was Diz After Dark.
Yes, Diz After Dark.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hadn't listened to that one yet, and I really want to because I want to find out how Paris does Halloween.
Yeah, that's Creepy Day number 7.
Yeah, it was early on.
Yeah, but they're a UK-based podcast. That's why they have some expertise on that.
I'm a little jealous of them. I feel we need to take a field trip, to go visit Diz After Dark. And, go to Paris, whatever.
Yeah, we'll do both.
Perfect, yeah.
Creepy Kingdom trip. Once you're official contributor, we'll talk about field trips.
Yes! Can't wait, hurry up. I really enjoyed all the podcasts every day, and the fact that I got to listen to different thoughts about Halloween throughout the entire month of October. It made the month a lot more fun. I felt like I was a big part of the Creepy Kingdom and sharing my favorite holiday with all the listeners. So thank you for having me on.
No problem. My pleasure. Yeah, I guess that's if Creepy Days did anything, it really helped make October about Halloween, because obviously it's Halloween season and it's leading up to Halloween, but there's little tidbits of Halloween here and there normally, but this really made it Halloween all month long, didn't it?
Yes. Yep, not a Christmas commercial in sight.
Nope. Not yet. And so I guess hopefully that, I helped make Halloween last all month for everyone by putting out these shows every day. But I want to thank you personally for all of the contributions that you've made.
Oh, thanks.
Is really really awesome, and like we stated earlier, because of this, you're becoming part of the podcast, so it's a pretty exciting thing.
It is. It's really exciting. It's definitely been a learning process, and to be able to talk with people, like Roxy, who I've known forever, and you, it's been a lot of fun. I've definitely enjoyed my time at Creepy Kingdom. Well, stoked. Not to be all schmoopy or anything, but it's definitely been a really fun time.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting a little schmoopy in general here.
I know.
No, because this is, it's really overwhelming when I think about what's been accomplished this past month, and everyone's like, oh, listen to them tune their own horn. But it's not about me though. It's about It's about all the amazing contributions. Like that's really what's exciting to me about it. Not excited because of me.
Right. But I mean, a little bit, but yeah.
A little. I'm very excited because of myself. All right, Cupcake. If people want to find you on the internet, it's really hard. Because unlike a lot of our other guests who are all over the place.
Yep.
You're only in one or two places.
Yeah, I'm only in one or two places. I'm actually Cupcake Terror on Instagram. And if anybody uses Elo or Pinterest, I'm Cupcake Terror on those as well.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on down.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Thanks again to Michelle and Cupcake for coming back on the show. But now, as promised, going to be sharing some listener emails. First one here comes from James Joplin. James writes, "Hey James, my name is James as well. I'm a new listener and I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes about Snow White and Pinocchio. I've loved Disney for a very long time. I did hit the age of not believing around 12 or 13 when Disney was, gasp, uncool. Wow. Can't believe you hit that age. When I grew that age, I plunged back into Disney fandom with a renewed interest not only in the films that I enjoyed, but also in the personalities that made the films, animators, songwriters, and especially Walt Disney himself. I have chronicled a list of practically every Disney movie ever made, including Pixar, Touchstone, Miramax, DTV, and DCOM. I don't even know what DTV and DCOM is, so you're deep in the game there. Although I tend to reject Studio Ghibli, I can't pronounce that either, but that's the Japanese the Japanese studio that Disney releases their films. I just can't get into that style of animation. I've gone through the list several times chronologically by release. Sounds like you and I are cut from the same cloth, so to speak. Wow, you've actually made it through the list. And your list is way deeper than mine, so props to you. Anyways, I was wondering if you've seen Wicked Comes This Way, and if you tend to evaluate this film. I think this one would win your creepy film contest hands down. Have you ever seen No Deposit, No Return? That's a comedy, so there aren't many creepy scenes, but I would definitely mention the part where the kids get trapped in their grandfather's safe. That sounds terrifying. There are obviously many suggestions, and I'm looking forward to hearing more. So wow, James, like I said, that is crazy that you've gone through this list. Props to you. You obviously have some great insight on thoughts about all these films. And to answer your question, of course, plan to get to something Wicked This Way Comes. So I'm not sure when that will be, but that is definitely on the agenda. And I have never heard of this No Deposit, No Return film. So is that a Disney film or is that a Touchstone or Miramax film? I don't know. But either way, I know that children get locked in a safe in it, so I guess I'll check it out. I would love to see this list if you still have it available. But either way, thank you for emailing the show. The next email I'm going to read comes in from Cyan H, and I hope that's how you pronounce your name. If not, please get in touch with me and tell me the correct way to pronounce it. So here it is. Hey James and Annie, if you're lurking. Annie is always lurking. I adore Creeping Kingdom, and I love Creepy Days throughout October. It's perfect for a Disney lover who also loves scary stuff like me. I've been wanting to create a podcast/blog similar to yours for a long time, and it's great to know someone who actually has the ability to travel to the parks more to be able to create something like this. I was simply wondering, I haven't been through each episode yet, I'm sorry if I answered this question before, what are your thoughts on Nightmare Before Christmas and the original plans for the dark ride in Walt Disney World? What movies/characters would you like to see portrayed more in the parks? And who do you think is the creepiest, most threatening Disney villain? Lots of churros and PB&J milkshakes all around. Cyan. P.S. I actually love the Stitch ride. Whoa, there's a lot to respond to there. So let me get ready. First of all, thank you so much for listening to all the Creepy Days and for enjoying the show. That's awesome. I don't go to the parks as often as one might think. I currently live in New Jersey, which is, of course, a 16-hour drive from Orlando and all the way on the other side of the country from Disneyland. But that may change soon. We'll see. We actually have not covered Nightmare Before Christmas yet on the show. So there's been some talk of Nightmare Before Christmas on a few Creepy Days episodes, and I've chimed in a little bit. But, just kind of saving that for something that's coming up. So be on the lookout for that. Now, this dark ride, I don't know too much about it. I know that I have seen the concept art, and I tried to look for it again in preparation to respond to your email, and I can't find it. Maybe I didn't see it online. I don't know. I think they should have built it. I thought it was going to be built in Disneyland. I could be wrong on that, but that's just my vague memory. I don't know where I heard this information, and I don't know where I saw the concept art, but my thoughts are that this should make it. So that's my thought on that. What movies or characters would I want to see portrayed more in the parks? Just off the top of my head, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I'd love to see more presence. In Walt Disney World, there is virtually none. There is the Maroon Studios sign and Eddie Valiant's office window in Hollywood Studios. And I believe that's it. Of course, in Disneyland, there's Mickey's Toontown, which was modeled after the Toontown in the movie. It wasn't really modeled after it. It was inspired by it because it's a little happier than the one in the movie. But it does, of course, have Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin there. So there's representation right there. And overall, I guess I'm going to talk about Walt Disney World because it's the park that I've been to most recently as the time I'm recording this. I want to see more villains out, to answer who I want around, Like, I want to be able to run into Cruella. I want to be able to run into Maleficent. I want that to happen. The Evil Queen. Jack and Sally. Speaking of Nightmare. That's what I want to be. I don't want to wait in the line to do it either. I want them to be there. Just cruising around like they live there. So that's what I want, personally. And to answer your question, who do I think is the creepiest, most threatening Disney villain? Well, I don't think creepy and threatening are synonymous. So I guess you're going to get two answers out of me for that one. As far as creepiest, Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog wins it every time. He's one of the newer villains, but he's definitely one of the creepiest. The most threatening, we're going to flip it, go back to the original. The first Disney villain, probably. I don't know. But the first Disney movie, the Evil Queen from Snow White. I think she's the most threatening because just the idea that a talking mirror told her that someone else is more attractive than her, she orders for that person's heart to be brought to her in a box. And while the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, talks a big game off with their head, there's not too many, there's no beheadings in the film. Not that I recall, at least. And even though Snow White's heart isn't literally in the box, the Evil Queen thought so at some point, right? So, yeah. And then, then she poisons her. And then, and not even that, when she's making the poison, you go to her dungeon, you see people that didn't make it. You know, there's bones that are left from a decayed body. So I gotta give it to her. The more I think about it, the more I agree with my decision. The Evil Queen. And lastly, your response, your PS saying you actually love the Stitch ride is, of course, the response to our recent episode taking a look at extraterrestrial alien encounter, an extinct attraction, which was replaced by Stitch's Great Escape. And of course, the recurring theme that whenever this attraction is mentioned on this show, it is met with much negativity. So I threw out the challenge and said, who is the person that enjoyed this attraction? And you stepped up to the plate. I'm really proud of you. And whenever we actually review this attraction, definitely going to get in touch with you. I got to hear what you love about this ride. So thanks for writing in. All right, I will get to the other emails in our inbox here in a future episode. And if you have something you want to say, want to send in thoughts, comments, concerns, all you need to do is send an email to creepykingdom@gmail.com. Well, it's time to get out of here, but before we do, I'm going to tell you a few things. Be sure to check out my other podcast, The Even James is a Podcast by going to theevenjamesapodcast.com. On our most recent episode, which is episode 91, I give a little review of Song of the South, so I thought Creepy Kingdom listeners might be interested in that little tidbit, so you could check that out. There is a lot of profanity on this show, so a little heads up on that. But, you know, if you're into it, check it out. And for show notes, videos, creepy Disney cosplay, and fan art pics, links to all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google+, Tumblr, and Pinterest, all you need to do is go to creepykingdom.com. And we're in the iTunes store, where you can rate, subscribe, and review us, all in that order. So do it. It'd be awesome. And if you don't want to do that, you can check us out on the Stitcher app. It's an app for your smart device, which streams podcasts directly to it. No downloading required. Check them out at Stitcher.com. Well, until next time.
Keep it creepy.
I have to go now. It's midnight. Pleasant dreams.